Hey guys, it's Lori with LM's Crafty Creations. I am here with part 2 of the Authentique calendar album series that I have been doing. It took me a while to get all of these albums done because I ambitiously chose to do a series of 4 books for this set. And here are the first 2 that you saw. So you can tell that there's quite a bit going on here. I mean, look at all of that. They each have little mini journals inside of them for you to journal about the year ahead. And so I'll show you the last 2 first. These are design team projects for countrycraftcreations.com. So I did use the Mega Pad to create these albums, and it comes with everything you need. Um, I did add a few sheets, like I said in my last video for the other albums. I added a few sheets of just coordinating colored cardstock for the covers because the pages took just about everything that I had to decorate. So let's go ahead and walk through these. I'm going to walk you through each album and then stay tuned after that because I'm going to walk directly into the tutorial and I'll show you how to make the page style for this album and then the page style for this one as well. So hang tight, the tutorial is coming. So here is the first one. This is, or actually this is the 3rd book in the series. This is for July, August, and September. And just like the other 2 books, because I had a limited amount of paper left, I just did this collage look, which I absolutely love. Again, I still would like to do something on the spine, and that maybe that means just printing, I don't know, quarter 3 or the month that the book has in it or something, so that when you have them on a shelf, you can just pull the one that you want. I did a little trim on the spine. Again, I used the paper backed denim from Die Cuts with a View, which y'all know is one of my favorite stacks. I use it frequently. I use the darker denim on these 2 albums. Here's the back, so it's just the same. I just used my scraps and just cut them to fit and just glued some trim on the side. So on the inside of this one, both of these I did side pockets, and this one I decorated it up a little bit. I used a cut apart from July, and this cardstock is, I think this came with the collection in the Mega Pad, these 2. So I did have enough to at least decorate the covers, and then I just added in 2 full-size photo mats, which hold 4x6 photos. When I say full-size, that's what I mean. In the side pocket there. So the journal pocket in this album, there's 3 pages. They're all the same style. I just punched out some hearts and added them here on the side because you know I like hearts. And I have a large corner pocket here and then the journal inside. These journals are just like the other ones that I did, except for on every one I put the month cut apart. And then, of course, I have the pocket in the side with the extras for you to decorate the journal in, and then extras on the inside back pocket as well. And then in the middle, I punched out 2 hearts and just added them to the strings there. So these are just the same as the other video. I won't go through how to make these in this video. It's in the previous one, so I'll link the previous video down below as well. Each journal has 12 pages in it, so you could do more or less. I did 12 because I felt like that size fit perfectly in here, and there's still enough room to be able to decorate and put things in your journal. It's going to get bulkier as you go through the year. Okay, so here I have a side pocket. These are very simple designs, and I just have the cut aparts here. I had to stay simple because of the amount of paper that I had to use. I have a cut apart here. You could also put a photo mat there if you wanted. On this one, I put the calendar on the inside of the flap. You could put smaller photos here or use this space for journaling. And then I had extra cut aparts there, and then I mounted that one as a photo mat. And then on the back of this, I did a place for a photo. Again, I used the denim paper here, and this I cut from the paper, and then this is just a strip of the paper as well, and then a photo mat. And so here is for August. Got the cut apart and the pockets with all the goodies stuffed inside. Turn it over, and then I have larger photo mats in the pocket this time. There's those two. And I use the cut aparts to decorate those. Again, another cut apart here, and then more cut aparts and photo mats. I loved the vintage images in this collection. Authentique always does such a great job with their images. And there's the calendar. Right here I had to put this little mat as a buffer because this is not all the way glued down and it was catching over here, and so I didn't want it to get it messed up further. So here I did 2 spaces for 4x4 photos, and on this side we have September, the journal, and then there's the inside, and it's got all kinds of great fall and school themed things. I loved the apple paper. And here again I did 2 full-size photo mats. Cute, with a teacher at school. And then the kids right there. Super cute. And then here, this was one of the cutouts from the collection, so I just mounted it. And I was going to put it like right here or something like that because it looked like it needed something. But then I decided not to because I thought, I don't know, you might want to journal about the month there or something. So here are the cut aparts for this month. And then just show you that one, the school bus. Cute. So I really liked that. The month. And then on this side, I did the 3 smaller photos because, you know, first day back to school or whatever, you're going to have those cute little photos to add. And then in the pocket here, again, I did a side pocket, and my little apple thing is catching on this right here. And I have 2 photo mats in the pocket again. And that is it for this album. This album was super easy. Actually, they're all pretty easy. And then this one is a bit chunkier. This is for the 4th quarter, which is October, November, and December. And it feels quite a bit heavier than the other albums. So here's the front of it. Of course, the scraps again, looks the same. And then I had a larger scrap of orange, so I used it here and then did the red trim again. On the inside, again, you'll see I did the same side pocket, and then I just added the same photo mats. This is Authentique Spectrum paper. I used a brown and an orange, and then on the back cover I used a red and a green. So you'll see that in a minute. I added this cut apart, and then I thought you could put a photo right there if you wanted to. I did this album a little bit different. The reason why it's thicker is because I figure this half of the year you're going to have more photos because you have Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so I'll show you how. There's a lot more room for photos in this album. So here we have the journal, and it looks just the same as all the others, and it fits right in this pocket right here. This is a nice gusseted pocket. You can see where that big gusset is right there. This, I put the calendar on the front this time, and then this has a magnet and it flips up, and then you have a space for a photo here and some decoration. And then you have 2 photo flaps here that flip open. And I left these blank because you're just going to put your photo there. No need to have any paper. And then you have a space here for photos as well. That closes, and then it flips. And then you have the side pocket again, just like before, that holds the large photo mats. And I have 2 in the pocket. And then this booklet, I made it a booklet because it holds these flapped down, and the booklet tends to hold them down better. So again, another adorable cut apart from Authentique, and places to put at least 3 photos if you want. And then on this waterfall, I actually did 5 flaps, but I thought that was too many when I got to the rest. So on the other one, they only have 4. So you can make up your mind what you want. It was too close to the edge of the pocket for me. So I have a cut apart here, and then just the waterfall. And I just did the strips of brown just so that when it's closed like this, you could see the brown. And then this fits in the pocket and keeps that closed nice and tidy. And so you can put all of your Halloween costume photos there. There's another place for a photo here, and then you could do journaling there if you like. This was just craft cardstock that I used. And then there's a pocket on the back. Again, just some extra cutouts and goodies and a photo mat. So I really like this design. So for November, again, you have, here is the journal with the month on the top, and then the pockets with the cut aparts, and then the calendar. This flips up. And up here I did, this was a little cut apart that I added there, 2 smaller photos up top, and then of course the same larger photos, and it opens up. And then it just flips closed with magnets. And then this flips open. Again, the larger photo mats in the pocket. You can see that gorgeous leaf pattern, and it carries over into this page. I have another booklet. And then again, the waterfall. And here's where I did the 4, and you have a little bit more of a gap down here, which I like that better personally. Another, this is a little bit smaller photo mat, maybe 4 by 5. And then you have a pocket on this side and just extra cutouts and a photo mat. And for December, here is the journal. There's the inside and the back. And again, we got magnets. Here I left this blank. Instead of putting a place photo here stamp, I thought you could use this to put more than one photo, or you could do journaling here and here, depending on what you want to do for December. And then that opens up. Here is the waterfall as well as the large pocket, and I just use the plain red right here. And get those back in there. Here's the booklet and the waterfall. There's the front, and then on the back I used the holly paper. On this side I did a little layout. These are 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, so when you put your 4 by 4 photo here, you'll still have a little border of the paper behind it. And then here's the pocket, more cut aparts. I love that one. And a little snowman, Santa Claus. And I love the little girl. I put Santa over here, and then again, you could put your photo down here. But you still have room for at least 2 photo mats in this pocket. You could actually fit more or do booklets if you prefer to hold even more. So it just depends on how many photos you have for this time of year. So that's it for this one. Like I said, it's a little bit chunkier because of the waterfalls that are in here, but I just thought that they were needed for this time of year. So let's go ahead and go into the tutorial. Like I said, the pages are really easy since there is only one page style for each album. It goes by really quickly. So let me grab my stuff here. Make sure I've got the right pieces for the right book we're going to do first. Okay, now we're going to do the 3rd quarter book first, which is the first one I showed you. So we're going to go through this page design with the crisscross pocket and the side pocket here. There's a pocket here and then a flap. So super easy. Super, super, super. What am I starting with? You're going to start with a base page, and that is going to be 6 3/4 by 8 3/4. No scoring on this page. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to take my piece at 5 1/4 by 9 3/4. Then I'm going to score on the 9 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And I'm going to go ahead and fold on those score lines. And this is going to be the pocket that I attach for my binding, and it's also going to be the back pocket for this page. So I'm going to go ahead and take my glue. I'm using Art Glitter Glue. I like to always make sure I mention it in my videos because someone always asks. I get it from countrycraftcreations.com. However, it is that time of year right now where it's not shipping because of the cold. So it's too cold to ship it right now. I usually stock up on it before this time of the year hits. And you're just going to stick this pocket, I kind of turn my page sideways, right on top of that one page. It's going to go to the right, all the way to the right. So this is going to be your pocket, and then your binding system, your hinge is going to go right here. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and add the larger flap. Since we already have this turned over. So this larger flap is 7 3/8 by 8 3/4. Where's my measurements that I wrote down? Make sure. You're going to score on the 7 3/8 of an inch side at 1/2 inch and then at 5/8 of an inch. So you're going to have a little gusset in this one. So I'm going to fold on both of those score lines. I do the 1/2 inch. No, I do the 5/8 of an inch score line first that I fold on, and then I go in and fold on the 1/2 inch. That just seems easier to me. And my paper, this kind of paper kind of curls a little bit. It eventually lays flat, but it always curls on me. So then I'm going to miter these corners, but I'm not going to, make sure you stay away from that gusset. You don't want to miter the gusset at all. Just that hinge, like that. And I actually have this kind of upside down that I've written on it. I'm going to put my glue on the inside of the flap. And I'm going to stick it in right there and glue it down. But make sure you don't go over that score line for your hinge, your little, not hinge, your gusset. You want to keep that gusset. Okay. So now we have our little flap here. We're going to add a pocket to this pocket. And it's cut to 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. You're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 6 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. Go ahead and miter those corners. Fold on the score lines. And then add your glue. And this pocket is going to go right at the bottom of this pocket. So line it all the way up with the side here. And it should actually fit on this piece just perfectly. And so you have a little gusset right here on this flap. It's right here. So when you close it, you'll see there's a little bit of room there so that when you put stuff in this pocket and this pocket, this flap won't bulge out too much. That's the point of those gussets, little spaces. Okay, now we're going to do what I like to say is the hard part, but it's not really hard. We're going to make the journal pocket. It's on the front of the page. So the first thing we want to do is take a piece of paper at 7 1/2 by 7 1/2, and you're going to score on all 4 sides at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 of an inch, and it's going to look like this, if you can see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this in our trimmer just like we're creating a normal corner pocket, and we are going to cut it in half diagonally. So I'm lining it up with my trimmer, and I'm going to cut it. So now I have two pieces. Now, there is a trick to this. I want you to go ahead and fold on these lines. Okay. Before you miter or cut anything. So, what we want to do is you're going to cut directly across here. So, you have these lines here, and I want you to cut directly across, just like that. You see that? The dotted line is where you're going to cut. Directly across. Now, I also want you to cut out this little triangle space right here. Okay? It's a teeny tiny thing. This is going to make this pocket work. Now, when you fold this, you also need to cut this little wing off here. I like to fold it though to where I can see this gusset, because that's going to matter. So I'm going to fold and I'm going to cut right here, right up to that gusset, and then I'm just going to cut it across. So you have like a little box. Can you see that? I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to cut straight across here first. Can you see what I'm doing there? Straight across. And then I'm going to do my corner cut. Okay? So this is what I end up with, this little box right here. And these should meet pretty perfectly in the corner. Okay? Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I like to fold on everything first so you can kind of see what you're doing. Then we have our score lines here and here. And again, I'm going to cut on the dotted line. And then I'm going to cut this triangle out. Just like that. And that's what it looks like when you've finished. Now on these, again, I go in and cut straight right there. And then that gives me a little triangle piece right here. And then I'm going to cut on the diagonal right there. Same thing on this side. I'm going to cut on the diagonal, and then I'm going to do a straight piece, like so. Okay? So I have my little box. So I'm going to take our base page again and make sure it's the right way. And these, what I like to do is I like to glue, you're only going to glue the 1/2 inch hinge. So if you fold it in this way, you'll see that there's that 1/4 inch. So I'm going to leave that. So I'm going to fold it like this. You see, I'm kind of making it lay flat. I'm going to add my glue here. And, whoops, just got glue all over me. And I'm going to add it right here. All right. So this hinge part's glued down, but this is not. See, it moves. Okay? So now I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to glue this part down on this side. And then we're going to get a little bit messy. And I'm lining it up, oops, all the way at the bottom. Now I'm getting glue everywhere on my page. See? Excuse me. Okay, now what I like to do is fit these two together. So you have these two pieces, and I have it upside down right now. And I'm going to fit these two together, like so. See? And they kind of fit together, and they go in sort of like a box. So, see what I got going on there? And you just kind of move them. So then you end up with this gusseted pocket, just like this. Okay? So, the easiest way to glue this down, I found, was first, I'm going to add glue to the inside of this piece right here. Just like this. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck this under and glue this down. Okay. And I like to use my bone folder to kind of get up in there and just make sure it sticks. Alright. And then all you have to do is kind of open this up a little bit and put glue on this hinge right here. And try not to get glue everywhere like I'm doing. And then you stick it down. And make sure you form your little box. Okay? And I like to take my bone folder and I'm just going to press it down in there. So see, now I have a little box. And mine doesn't meet all the way right there. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's okay. No one's going to notice that, because what you're going to do is you're going to have this matted and you're not even going to see it. Okay? So that's it for that. And that's what you would put your journal inside. Okay? And that's it for the third quarter book. So that one wasn't too bad, right? The hardest part was that little gusseted pocket. Let's talk about the next one. The next one has a few more pieces in it than this one. But you're going to start out the same. So we're going to start out with two pieces, one at 6 3/4 by 8 3/4, and then also one at 5 1/4 by 9 3/4. You're not going to score it all on this one, and on this one you're going to score on the 9 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. Okay? Go ahead and fold on those score lines. And add your glue to the hinges. And we're going to do just like we did before. I like to turn mine sideways because it's easier for me that way. And we're going to glue this down, lining it up with the top, bottom, and side. Okay, so this is our base page. This is your side pocket again, and this is what's going to attach to your hinge. So now let's talk about, let's go ahead and add that extra large, that flap again, just like we did before. This one has a little larger gusset on it. It's cut to 7 1/2 by 8 3/4, and you're going to score on the 7 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inch. So you fold on those. And miter the corners. And we're going to add glue to the inside of the flap again. And this one's going to be the same. You're going to stick it on the inside. I like to fold it over to make sure that I'm not going over the score line, because if you are going over the score line, you should be able to feel it and adjust it before you glue it down. It'll give you some resistance. Okay, so let's see, that's going to be, this is for the front of the book, this is for the front, these are for the front. Okay, let's do the little small pocket here. This small pocket is cut to 2 inches by 6 1/4. You're going to score on the 2-inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 6 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And then miter the corners. This is just a regular pocket, it's just a small one. And then you're going to fold on all the score lines, and you're going to glue it at the very bottom of this side pocket. And this is the little pocket that's going to hold the booklet that will keep your waterfall flaps from flapping around. Okay, I'm just going to glue it right there at the bottom. Now, like I said, I had adjusted mine and I did 4 waterfall flaps. So I did 4 flaps cut to 5 inches by 5 1/4. And then I scored on the 5-inch side at 3/4 of an inch. So your hinges here are going to be a little bit larger than normal. So I did 4 of those flaps, and you're going to use this side pocket as your base guide, and you're going to go ahead and fold on that 3/4 of an inch hinge. See, it's a little larger than normal. And go ahead and add your glue and stick the first one down at the very top. Now, I rounded the corners on my waterfall flaps. You don't have to do that if you don't want, but I thought it looked cute. And then you're going to take the second one, and you're going to glue that one right underneath the hinge for the first. And you're going to use this pocket to line up your sides to make sure your waterfall is straight, okay? Now the second one, or third one. And the fourth. Now, if you want the booklet, I forgot to put the measurements. I forgot to write those down. The measurements for the booklet, you're going to cut the booklet to 6 1/4 by 8 1/2, and then you're going to score on the 8 1/2 inch side at 4 1/4, and that is the booklet for this pocket that holds these flaps down. Okay, so now let's do the final pocket on the back, and then we'll flip to the front and finish the front. I know I'm kind of doing it backwards here. The pocket for here is 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. You're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 7 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And I'm mitering my corners, folding on my score lines. And I like to make sure that I got my measurements right, so I like to test my fit first, because sometimes I write it down wrong and sometimes I just cut it wrong because I'm not paying attention. Looks like this one's correct, so we are going to stick it down right here. Okay. So you should have this large gusset right here so that it gives you plenty of room for your waterfall flaps. All right. Now turn to the front of the book or page, and now we're going to do our gusseted pocket. For this, you're going to cut it to 7 1/4 by 8 1/4. You're going to score on the 7 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 of an inch. And then you're going to score on the 8 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and then 3/4 of an inch on each side. Okay. Now, just like we did before, I'm going to show you on the corner pocket. You have these lines just like before, but except for this time you're going to have them on both sides, right? Okay. Now we're going to miter it just like we did before. We're going to cut on this dotted line that I'm creating, and then we're going to remove this little square. So as straight as you can get it on the dotted line, and then remove the square. Just like so. So I'll do this one first. My dotted line wasn't very straight, and I'm going to cut out this little corner. Teeny triangle. Same thing on this side. This makes our box kind of fold perfectly like it's supposed to. And this is what it should look like when you are done on each side. Now, we're going to fold on everything. Okay, so here's your little box that's creating. You can see that corner is going to close, and it looks nice and lined up. Okay. And so I found it easier to glue one section at a time. So I did this one first and then glued it down. Gotta line it up. I'm not gluing that 1/4 of an inch gusset down, just the 1/2 inch hinge. Okay. And then I'm going to take this one, got a little glue where it doesn't belong, and I'm going to go ahead and add glue to both of these. Okay. And this is where it gets kind of tricky because you don't want to fold it down too much. You're going to line it up, stick it down, make sure that it's, and what I like to do is stick this thing in here and kind of use it to press down. Okay, just got to make sure you get it nice and glued down. Okay, and even I've used my ruler before as well to make sure that it's glued down at the bottom. Okay, and then that's it. That is your pocket for your journal. Now if you find, like mine's not sticking too well right here, so I'm going to lift it up a little bit and put a little bit more glue right here. And press it down. Shouldn't have any gaps there at the bottom. So you can see how I have that like box all the way around. Okay, and that's what your journal is going to stick in. Now we do have some features on this front here, and then we'll be done. So we have this piece. It's cut to 6 3/4 by 7 1/8, and then you're going to score on the 7 1/8 of an inch side at 1/2 inch, and then at 5/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to fold on the 5/8 of an inch line first, and then I'm going to fold on the 1/2 inch line. And I am going to miter these corners. And add the glue. And I'm going to stick it in here with the glue side up. Make sure you don't glue your hinge down. And I'm going to stick it down. Okay. And I'm going to lift that up. And then I have 2 more flaps. These are both cut to 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, and then you're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. Fold on those score lines for both. And we're just going to add them First one goes just lined up right in the middle. On the side of the page or pocket. And it's okay if you're pressing on, you crush this gusset right here, it will bounce back. Okay, this one is not wanting to glue down. Told you I'm messing with the glue today. Okay, one more to go. And then that's it for this page. I can't keep my glue on the page today. It is just everywhere. Okay, so then you have your two flaps. I don't know why that's not sticking well today. Probably just not pressing down hard enough on it. And then this one closed. And what I did is I put a magnet here. You see a magnet here and a magnet here, one on each side. And then I did one on each flap down here, and to keep this shut. So you can keep that shut however you want. And that's it for book number 4, and we are done with our series, guys. I am going to come back. I'm going to make an album, one album with all 4 of each page styles, and I'm going to remove these gussets out and make it a regular album. So in case you're not interested in adding the journals, I'm going to show you what that looks like and give you the measurements, and I'm going to put them all in one book. And so that is coming. In the previous video, part 1, which I linked below, I showed you how to create the album covers for this book, and I also showed you how to create the journals for these pockets. So please check out both of those, or that video, for instructions on both of those items. Okay, that's all I have for today, I believe. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.